everyone. I know this is a little bit different, but I wanted to make this video for you because we're going to be on fall break. Yay, it's fall break. I know it's just 2 days, but I'm sure you're ready for a break right now. So what I thought I would do, since we're only going to have class one day next week, or whenever you're watching this, that might be this week, I wanted to go ahead and kind of go over what you'll be doing. So we just finished chapter 5. We were talking about how do we take notes successfully. We went over the 4 note-taking methods. How are you an active learner? What are you doing to participate? How do you prepare for class? So this is a great time for us to reflect. Okay, so this is why I inserted the midterm check-in assignment. So this assignment really is a good way for you to reflect, to see how you're doing this semester, and if you need to make any corrections so you can achieve your semester goals. So at this point, you kind of have an idea, or you should, of where you are in terms of your grade average and your class assignments. I told you that the last week, actually 2 weeks ago, they did progress reporting at the end of September. So you may have gotten some calls or emails from student services, or a call saying, hey, reach out to your instructor. So you may be missing assignments, or you haven't taken quizzes. So it's just a really good time for you to reflect. So what you're going to do to get to the assignment is, if you click on course information and hit content, you're going to scroll down. You're going to see it right under chapter 5. It's going to say midterm check-in. So it is actually going to open October 6th. So you'll be able to look at it and get in there. If you want to work on it ahead of time, you can. That's going to be up to you. If you don't want to have anything to do next week or this week, whenever you're watching this video, you may decide to do it early. That's why I went ahead and opened it up. But you'll see here, it is going to be due October the 12th at 11:30. Okay, so following along those same guidelines of when most things are due. So to click on it, you will download it. I do want you to download the assignment and type inside of it, okay, because there is a format that I'm using. So don't try to just type this in a Word document. Use the document that I have given you. So when you click on it, you will be able to download it. This is what it looks like. It is 2 pages, okay. So when we're talking about midterms, that's midway through your classes. In some of your courses, you may have a midterm exam. Others, you may not. Our midterm is basically our unit capstones, right? So even if you do not have a midterm exam in any of your classes, it's a really good idea for you to sit down, take some time, do some reflection. See if you've lost your motivation. You know, are you questioning and wondering, should I be here? I can't do this. This is too hard. You know, why did I sign up for this? So this is a really good time to see what kind of choices are you making. Are you making good choices? Are you trying to implement these things that we're talking about in class? How are you actually doing? Are things going smoothly? Do you have some life things that's getting in the way? So the first part is really your check-in part. Let's see how you're doing with your classes. And then, how am I doing? What effort am I putting in? Do I know what's going on? And then the second part is really going to be, what can we do to make it better? Okay, what strategies am I using? So let's go ahead and look at the first part. This first part just kind of gives you a little rundown into what is on the midterm assignment, which is kind of what I just did. So that'll be your first 2 paragraphs there. Then we get down to the blue headings. So the blue headings are things I want you to do. Okay, so you'll see there's plenty of blue headings here. So the first heading says My Course Standings. This is where you're going to go back and pull out your course syllabus for each class you have. And I want you to review the section that talks about how your final grade is going to be calculated. So a lot of times this is weighted with percentage, and sometimes it's even calculated by points. So for our class, you have a maximum of 1,000 points, okay? So it's a good idea for you to estimate your overall grade average so you know where you are. So when you get into your grades, let's say it says 300 points, and you have 285 out of 300. So how to calculate your grade average, you would take those 285 points dividing by that 300, okay? This is a good way to see kind of where you are. So if you go into our class and so let me go back. I can't show it to you because it's my view as instructor and it will show everyone's grade. But if you click on course information and you go down, there's a section called grades. You should have been going into this and looking at your grades. A lot of times your instructors will give you feedback. They'll write notes inside your assignments. It's a good idea to see where you are. Sometimes there'll be a grade average there. Sometimes there won't. They'll just be points or a percentage. If you're not sure what grade you have and you're confused and you don't know how to calculate it, talk to that specific instructor, right? So when you're filling this out, you'll see it has 5 courses. If you have more than 5, you can type in extra at the bottom. It's really up to you. If you do type in more than 5 because you're taking more than 5 classes, please follow the same format here when you're typing in. So you will put the name of your course. Okay, so for ours it's called Education 1030, so you'll put Education 1030, the college experience. And if you don't want to put the class, that's fine. I'm just mostly worried about if you are putting your grade, right? So you can put a letter grade like A, B, C, D, or you can put your points, about how many maximum points you have. So if you're going to do the points, you would need to write something like this. 280 out of 300, okay? And then you would put equals. So then you would take your calculator and you would put 280 divided by 300. That's going to give you your number grade, right? A lot of people choose to put, like, say they have a 95, they'll put 95A or just an A. Some people may put, a 65, D, or F. So these are things that you can choose. I'm not really particular about that, but I do want an average. You should know what your average is and calculate it for your final grade, okay? And this won't be your final grade. This is your grade as of now because we're at the midterm point. You will not have your final grade till the end of the semester, so keep that in mind. But reach out to each individual instructor if you do not know what your grade is. The next section you'll see here in the blue is strategies for improving or maintaining my course grades. So what you're going to do is you can ask your instructor or even your advisor, or look at some of the skills and strategies we've been talking about in class. How can I maintain or improve my grades? So what I want you to do is I want you to reflect back on the grades that you have that you inserted up here. If you're pretty happy and you're passing all your classes, how are you going to maintain that momentum? So you're going to list 3 things. Well, let's say that you have one class where maybe your grade is not at least a C and you're very disappointed. How are you going to improve? Are you going to go to tutoring? Are you going to start taking notes? Are you going to start listening, not playing on your phone? So tell me the strategies that you need to do to either improve your grade or keep your grades up. So if your grades are good, tell me the 3 things you've been doing that's working for you. The next section is your academic advisor. Okay, so have you met with your academic advisor? Do you even know who it is? If you have met with them, how's it going? How's it working out? Okay, remember, you can always switch your major if it's not a good fit, or you can switch your advisor. So now's a perfectly good time to do that because the first week in November is when we're going to register for spring classes. Every student has to meet with their advisor before they can register for spring classes. So it'd be a good time if you're switching majors or you're switching counselors or advisors, do that now. So what I want us to go back to is I want us to go back to our Chapter 1 Walter State Resources homework. Okay, so if you didn't save it on your device, you can always pull it up by going into assessments and going into Dropbox. Dropbox is like a OneDrive almost. It's where it saves your documents. So you'll click on that worksheet, and mine's different because it's instructor, but yours will just have your name and you should be able to retrieve the document. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you didn't save it or can't find it, you should go back to Dropbox and pull that assignment up. So once you pull that assignment up, what I want you to do is I want you to go back to the section where it talked about your advisor, who your advisor was. A lot of people I commented on when I graded it, I noticed that you put the student successes advising number and not specifically one that was related to your major. We talked about this. Every student, based on your major, is going to have a specific advisor assigned to you. Okay, so you need to know who that person is. Now, if you're Gen Ed Studies, it was more than okay for you to put the student success advising number on there. Okay, but you'll see here why we needed that, because you need to put who the person is that's your advisor, their phone, their email, their office number. Office number is where they're located, what building. So depending on like what campus, most of us are in person on Morristown campus, or all of us are, so you should have an office number for that person. I want you to also circle yes or no, or put an X next to yes or no, if you have met with your advisor anytime or spoken on the phone to them, because that counts as a meeting, anytime this semester. If you haven't, put no. If you have not, have you reached out to them to schedule an appointment? Some of us have, some of us haven't. A lot of us will probably wait till toward the end of October because we need to schedule spring registration with them and talk about our academic plan. So most of us won't have that. Are you going to change or keep your advisor? So you're going to answer that question. The next section is talking about a date that's important. Registration for next term. I just mentioned this, okay? So what you have to do is you need to either look at your water state planner I gave you, because that date is on there. And if not, you need to go to the school website, ws.edu, and you need to look at the academic calendar, and you're going to see when does the registration begin on. This is something important for you as a college student to know, okay? So you have to know when you can register for the next semester's classes. This is important. The earlier you register, the more sections and times are available that's open to you, okay? So you have to tell me when is spring registration begin. The next section is your personal time management system. Look, when we talked back on chapter 3, we're talking about time management skills. So I want you to look back and reflect on what you've done so far this semester. Think about your time management skills. Are you tracking how you spend your time? You're going to choose one of these, always, never, sometimes. If you're not, what can you do to change this behavior? So go back to chapter 3, look at those strategies we talked about. Are you making regular use of your planner or calendar? Again, always, never, or sometimes. You're going to circle or check or highlight one of those. If not, what can you do to change this behavior? The next section is maintaining my motivation for being in college, okay? So this is the point where some of us start to get a little bit nervous, upset. Things are not going our way, classes are difficult. This is a hard transition, as I mentioned, going to college. You've got a lot of things you're trying to balance, and it becomes a struggle. And when it becomes a struggle and you start getting anxiety and stress, it starts to make your motivation go down, okay? So that lack of motivation is there. So think about your motivation in college. You know, it's important for you to be able to motivate yourself or to have someone in your corner that helps keep you pumped up and going. So spend time with those positive students. Look back at that portion of the book that talks about how to be motivated. What is your current level of motivation? And be honest, this is your reflection. You can highlight, circle, or put an X, high, medium, low. Compared to the beginning of the term, so think about from the very start of school, are you more motivated or less motivated, or you're still about the same? So you're going to highlight, circle, or put an X next to it. Are you spending time with other positive, motivated students? Yes, no, or you're not sure. If you're having a difficult time with motivation and setting goals, what is your plan to change your behavior? Again, go back to setting goals. section in the textbook. Look at that and see what can you do to become more motivated. The next thing talks about important course requirements, okay? So think about all of your classes, not just 1030, the college experience. Think about all the classes you're taking this semester. Look at your syllabus, look in your course and your planner. Think about what are my big course requirements coming up. When I say course requirements, I'm thinking about major exams, papers, projects, speeches, any of those sorts of things that count for a lot, that are major assignments. I want you to list what they are and when they're due, okay? You don't necessarily have to put what class it's for, but you do need to put what the assignment is, if it's an exam, if it's a project, a speech, a paper, an essay, anything like that. And then you have to put the date it's due, because this isn't something important. This also lets me know that you're using your planner. And the last question really looks at your anxiety and stress, which I just talked about a few moments ago. And it was talking about sometimes when you get stressed, you can start having anxiety, right? And anxiety leads to stress and vice versa. You start to feel overwhelmed, right? And your hope goes down, your motivation goes down, it's hard to cope. A lot of students start feeling this way. Just know that this is normal. This is a normal part, and it's okay for you if you need to talk to someone. So like I said, you always have to have someone that you can go to vent, to talk about what's going on. So this could be your friend, a family member, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, husband, wife, it doesn't matter. If you feel like you don't have someone you can talk to, know that there are people here on campus that you can talk to, right? You can talk to instructors, you can talk to counseling. We have a counseling and testing center here. It is confidential. These people are trained professionals. Everything they say is confidential. Nothing leaves the room. You can go there and talk to them. It doesn't cost you any money. It's free. So just keep this in mind if you really feel like you're having trouble with this anxiety and you're stressing out and it's hard for you to cope and get through your classes and you're not motivated. Reach out if that's okay. So think about your current level of stress and anxiety. Is it high, medium, low? Could you benefit talking to someone, right? Like counseling right now? Yes, no, not sure. And where is the location of the counseling center on campus? So where on Morristown campus is this located? And you're going to put the building and the number it's located, like the office number. So that is encompassing our check-in. So this is what you will have due. So let's go back. To get to it again, you're going to hit course information and content. You're going to have to scroll all the way down, and it's going to be right underneath chapter 5, which was what we did last week. So you're going to see midterm check-in. It will open October 6th. Okay, so I'm recording this on Thursday, October 5th, so it'll be open for tomorrow, but I don't know when you're watching this video. But remember, you do have Monday, October 9th and Tuesday, October 10th off, so there's a couple days. But the assignment will be due October 12th at 11:30 p.m. So you do have until then. So you have a link to get to the Dropbox, okay? So I did have a couple questions I wanted to talk about for just a couple minutes before I get off of here. Some people have been saying that they don't know how to turn assignments in. Under each chapter that we work on, I always have a link to the Dropbox. A Dropbox is a place where you submit assignments, okay? A Dropbox is there for me to be able to grade it. It's a place for you to submit it. And since you don't have a physical copy, I have to have somewhere for you to drop this in, right? That's why it's called Dropbox. It's like an electronic box that you submit something to. I always give you a link. So if you click on this, it's going to take you to where you can submit. Now, mine will look a little different because mine's instructor view. But you should have a place to submit it. That link is always going to be under each assignment each week. Now, there's also another way to get to Dropbox. If you click on assessments and you click on Dropbox, okay, you're going to see all the assignments. Now, you see where it says midterm drop-in box? If it is not highlighted blue, you cannot turn it in, okay? That means that it's closed or it's not open yet, one or the other. So that's why I have it that way. Mine is blue, all of them are blue, but that's because I am the instructor. But right now, is blue, and that means I can get into it. If it's black, you cannot get into it, so just keep that in mind. But that's what you're going to be doing this week, guys. You're going to be doing this midterm check-in. If you have any questions, reach out. I really do hope you guys have a good couple of days off and try to get a little bit of rest, so we can kind of push through this semester. All right, guys. I will see you in class either next Wednesday or next Thursday. Take care.